Well, we're here at one of our local pro shops, and we're going to show you how the crossbow operates. We're going to go through the cocking procedure for you, shooting, and familiarize yourself again with the bow. Again, this is the buttstock, your scope rail, your riser, your limbs, your cams, foot stirrup, string stop bars, string stoppers, forearm. So you just want to know, basically what the parts are, what their function is, and so forth. But ideally, before you go out and even shoot this bow the first time, you want to familiarize yourself with the bow, how it's supposed to operate and everything. Last thing you want to do is just take it out of the box, not read the instructions, not watch the DVD, and go try to use it, because there are some specific unique features to this crossbow. Again, we're going to go through mounting the scope, and then the location to put your quiver mount and your suppressors for the foot stirrup and the limbs. Here's the proper location to put the limb dampers. It's on the inside of the limb, just down from the cable arm. Put one on each limb. Then the proper location for the string stop bar suppressor is on the bar itself, right down by the foot stirrup. You put one of those on each string stop bar. Now we're getting ready to mount the scope on the scope rail. You want to mount it as far forward on the scope rail as possible. Then you can fine tune it for eye relief if you need to after that. But you've got the front scope ring and the rear scope ring. You have the brackets loosened up a little bit. You slide it on there, fit it into the grooves, and then tighten your brackets. And then you'll want to snug them down. You don't have to go all the way yet, all the way tight, because you'll want to do some fine tuning for eye relief, but that's the proper location for mounting the scope. Okay, we're going over the magnification and the speed ring here on the scope. A lot of people confuse a 1.5 to 5 power scope as the scope that they can zoom in and out on, and that's not actually the case. These are speed adjustable reticles, and at the low setting of 1.5 power magnification, you're at about 250 feet per second. And when you go all the way up to the 5 power, it's at 425 feet per second. And you want to fine tune the speed ring with the speed that your arrow is actually shooting. So if your bow is shooting 425 feet per second, you'll turn it to the 425, fine tune it, and then you leave it there. You do not want to zoom in and zoom out depending on how far away the animal is, because if you do that, you're going to change all of your impact points except for the 20-yard center. So if your bow is shooting, say, 385 feet per second, that's where you turn it and that's where you leave it. You don't want to zoom in and out like you would on a conventional rifle scope. To determine what model Scorpyd crossbow you have, we put a label on the inside of the left limb, just as we show here, ventilator extreme. Warning, make sure you read your owner's manual before you use this crossbow. It's very, very important. And then in the white block here, we'll enter the poundage of the crossbow. So again, this is a ventilator extreme, 110-pound model. On your warranty paperwork, you're also asked to fill in the serial number of your crossbow. And the serial number is located on the right side of the trigger housing, right towards the back here where it angles down. There'll be a number in letters, LE, and then followed by a series of numbers. The letters can change from time to time, but this particular crossbow has 2 letters and 4 numbers for the serial number. The proper mounting location for your quiver bracket is on the bottom of the foot stirrup. And this is shown with the grip quiver mounting bracket. Mount side to side as shown. And then the grip quiver clamps on just like that. Right now we have shown on the crossbow the sled cocker with rope and handles, which is essentially a rope cocking device. And before I have run the rope all the way back and put it in the groove, it's shown with the string basically in the at-rest position or no preload on it. Now, depending on your height, you may want to put some preload on this. So if you're a little bit shorter, you'll be able to have to pull the handles less, I guess you might say. And you can preload this anywhere from, a 1/2 inch. You can shorten it. You can preload this an inch or two. You can actually preload this string to where it's coming clear back here if you want to. That's a personal preference. And the way you do that is you'll pull this knot out right here. Now, by changing the location of this knot, as you pull more rope out, what you'll end up doing is making the entire rope cocker shorter. So if you move the knot, say, up to here, it is going to give you more preload on the string, which is going to enable you to have to use less arm travel, less distance in cocking it. So somebody that's 6 foot tall, they can use a full length rope cocker. Somebody that's 5'5" though, they may need to shorten this rope up in order to put a little bit more preload on here, so it makes it easier to use the rope cocker. After you change your knot, pull it back in, cut off any excess, burn the end, and then you're ready to go. And we'll show you the actual full motion movement of using the rope cocker later in the video. Now we're going to show you how to engage the short cocking device. It's the same sled that we use on the rope cocker. It just has direct pull ropes on it with handles. And you engage it with the string right there. And it automatically centers the string every time. It's tight tolerance side to side here, so there's very, very little movement. It's going to allow you to cock the bow consistently, accurately, every time. We'll show you the proper use of the short cocker later in the video. Occasionally your bow may go into anti-dry fire mode if you have inadvertently pulled the trigger, or even if something's happened that's jarred it while the bow isn't cocked. And we're going to show you exactly what's going on here. The latch fingers are down, but the bow is not cocked. Latch fingers are down, the safety will not move. So what you want to do is you'll want to grab a long, like 1/8 inch Allen wrench, and you'll slide it in from the side behind the 2 fingers. You'll pull straight back and you'll hear a click. And the other way that you also know if you have a reset is cycle the safety. So long as the safety recycles, you know that you've got it latched. Then after you get it to that point, you'll want to load an arrow in just like you're getting ready to shoot it. You slide that arrow all the way to the back until it stops. Reach down with the safety in the fire position, pull the trigger. That's going to open up your latch for you. It's a very simple procedure. You just need to know how to do it. The bottom of our aluminum risers are already drilled and tapped to put the tripod bracket on. This shows the proper location of the tripod bracket. And once you have that mounted, you take your quick release or any other type, it depends on what type of tripod you have, and you can screw it right on the bottom here. Snug it down, and it's ready to go on your head. Now we're getting ready to cock the crossbow with a short sled direct pull. And again, we have a manual safety on the crossbows. You want to make sure it's in the forward or fire position when you get ready to cock it. If it's in the safe position, it will not cock. So again, keep it in the fire position. Grab the short sled cocker, one handle in each hand, guide it down, grab a hold of the string. And the easiest way to do it when you're pulling back is to use your body's momentum. If you just try to muscle it up, it is going to be much, much more difficult. But making sure that you keep the sled down on the barrel, get your hands back past the riser, and just stand up in it. Now, while you heard the click, and while you still have the cocking unit on there, reach down and pull your safety on. If the safety won't move, you don't have it cocked all the way, and because you still have the cocker on there, you can give it another tug and make sure that it is cocked, and then reach down and pull it on. Then to take the cocker off, you reach down, kind of tip up a little bit, and just slide it forward. And now you're ready to load an arrow. Very important to remember to use the proper type of nock and Scorpyd authorized arrows to get the best performance out of your crossbows. Shown here at the end of our arrow is a Q nock. It's made by Fire Nock. It actually snaps onto the bowstring. There's only one other nock that we authorize, and that's the capture style nock. And they are made by Luminock and Parker. The reason that we want you to use these types of nocks is, one, they're strong enough to withstand the pressure and everything that the Scorpyd crossbows put out, but it also has the nock where it goes above and below the string, preventing a partial dry fire. That's where the string actually goes underneath the arrow. That can happen with an improperly indexed half moon nock or a flat nock. Okay, now that you've got your Scorpyd crossbow cocked, you want to grab your arrow, make sure that you're using a Scorpyd approved arrow with a Scorpyd approved nock. This is the Q nock. It actually snaps onto the bowstring. Notice we've got 2 red veins, 1 white vein. The white vein goes down into the track on the barrel. Your nock is aligned perpendicular to that vein, so it'll actually snap onto the bowstring. Take your arrow, start it under the arrow retainer just a little bit, get it started, and then grab, as shown here, and push back, and you'll feel just a little bit of a snap right when it goes on. And now you're ready to shoot your crossbow. Okay, now that you've got your crossbow cocked and loaded, I'll show you the proper procedure for firing it. And notice again here we have a manual safety. Right now the safety is in the safe position. There's 2 ways you can do it. If you just slide it forward, you'll notice it makes a little bit more noise. If you're in an actual hunting situation though, you can grab a hold of it, put just a little bit of pressure on it, cuts down on the noise level dramatically. So you acquire your target, and with the safety in the fire position, you're ready to shoot your crossbow. Now we're going to show you how to use the rope cocker. I've got the sled held in my left hand and the rope pulled tight up with my right hand. I'm going to reach down and grab a hold of the string with the sled. Now you notice I've got all of my fingers holding in here. It's keeping the rope separate. I'll slide in with my other hand, and I want to keep about 3 or so inches of the rope between my fingers. What that's going to allow me to do is bring it up over the scope and hook it into the slot behind the trigger housing. So as I'm pulling it back, you'll notice that I'm actually putting some preload on the bowstring. And then once you get it back here, you just kind of slide forward and roll your hands out. And again, this is just for demonstration purposes on how we're using it. I shortened it up here so you can see exactly how much you can do that. Once you determine how much preload you want to use, you'll want to cut this off about a ½ inch out from the handle and then burn the end of it so it doesn't fray. So now we've got the rope cocker on. Again, the safety forward in the fire position. Grab your handles and bring it straight back. You hear the bow click. You want to release pressure just a little bit. Grab both handles like this, reach down, put your safety on. Again, if the safety does not move, you don't have it cocked all the way, you want to just reach and pull back on it again. Make sure that you've got it cocked. Put your safety on, and then slide the sled forward and remove the cocking unit from the crossbow. Some of the Scorpyd models have a folding stock on them, and there's a couple reasons for that. It makes it a little bit easier to use in a tight ground blind and so forth. And as you've seen me demonstrate cocking the crossbow, it helps make the crossbow a little bit easier to cock it. It's very, very strong neodymium magnet there, so when it's closed, it doesn't rattle or squeak or anything like that. It's very, very well made. But we've had a few people that have had issues because they're not grabbing the crossbow in the proper place and having it break open when they don't want it to. Every other crossbow out there, you grab by the pistol grip. That's what you should do with Scorpyd as well. Now, where they've had issues with sometimes the magnet popping open and the stock coming open is when they go to grab it in the wrong place, or the crossbow is down like this, and they reach here to pick it up, and it pops open. Well, if the crossbow is down, you grab it by the pistol grip, it's never going to happen to you. So it's just proper use of the folding stock will alleviate those kind of issues.